Yes, welcome to another edition of the Stakeholders Viewpoint. I am Chus Krista. You know how we do it on Stakeholders Viewpoint. We get to meet stakeholders in the education sector to discuss the issues that emanate in the foregoing week. And this week, the focus is on the UTME result. Remember last week, the UTME result, that's the 2024 CBT result, came out, and of the 1.4 million students who entered for the exam, we have it that the report has it that 84% of them failed, and that means that 1.5, that's 1 out of 5 students did not make the required score, the mandatory required score for them to advance to the tertiary institution. What does this mean? What is the implication? What is the fate of our education sector? Yes, in one of the radio programs last week, I had the PRO, or the spokesperson of the JAM, that's talking about Professor Fabian, analyzing that from between 2021 and 2024, there has been an increase, and which is a little bit very insignificant, between 0.2 to 0.3 to 0.4, talking about those who actually made it above 200 marks in the UTME result. But then, come to think of it, 84% of the students didn't make the required score. And over the years, you see that the requirement for people to go into the tertiary institution continues to drop. Where does this leave us? This forms the basis of our discussion on stakeholders' viewpoints. So stick around with me this week as we go to get the views of people in the education sector who will be telling us and sharing their thoughts, sharing the perspective of what this means for the education sector and what you think we should do differently. Dr. Christopher Otulu, he's an educationist, he is an engineer, a lawyer, a very sound person in our society. So it's good to have you again on Stakeholders Viewpoint. So our viewpoint today is on the JAM result that was released last week precisely, and it's on record that over 80% of the students didn't make the required score. That means they did not, over that percentage, out of 1.4 million candidates who entered for the exam, they didn't make the score above 200. Now the question is, what is this implication in education in Nigeria? What, as an educationist, what does this tell us as to the state of education in Nigeria?
Let us first of all look at the cause before we look at the effect. You see, we are in a country today where about 80% of our student population are not exposed to this thing you call computer or laptop. So some of them are coming to use computer on the very day of the exam, or some of them were only given 4 days rush training. So some of them know what to write, they may not be able to operate the computer. So that is a problem. A lot of the schools today, especially in the regions, in the hinterlands,
Yes,
do not have computers. In my place, for instance, I do not know about 5 or 6 secondary schools are there. I'm not sure any of them has seen a computer. So if a child now wants to write JAM, a week to that, you rush into Asaba and give him a hurried practice.
yeah,
The tendency that even the mere exposure to computer might be, some of them are not able to unlock or remove the last candidate's work as to be able to put their own.
yes,
And it takes them time trying to play in between the lines, trying to see what they can, before they can even start what they come for. So I think if we really want to go by the result,
yes, sir.
we have to do more than we're doing today. It's not just to wait until the last minute and give a child exam. At least every child should be having an opportunity. You borrow this idea of exam from some civilized world. Some of them grew up with laptops, even in the primary school. Unlike most of us, even in Abuja here, I know most parents don't even have a good handset.
Yes.
So how do you expect to judge the child by a computer? So that is one. Secondly, the number of students that had 200 and above would be enough to supply our universities.
Okay.
if they are given admission. But the question is that there is some, I don't know how to call it, but there's some involvement that means that at the end of the day, in certain parts of this country, this same JAMB result is not used. So it's like JAMB result has become an scapegoat for people of one side. Why it can not apply in other people. You see some people will, in certain parts of this country, with 120% get the admission. And when the people, even with that 200, will not get admission in some areas. So it is quite a different ball game. The question is, if we really want to implement the JAMB result, we should be fair. First, to equip the children to start very well. And second, to actually use it.
Okay.
Not using it for some people and using it for not using for other people.
So that is to say that the JAMB on its own seem to not have a parallel standard for everybody.
JAMB is creating a double standard. The JAMB authority may not have any problem because they have created the result. But are these their standard of score acceptable everywhere? That what we are using as a judgment? The answer is no. Some people still depend on letter from the senator, letter from the House of Rep, letter from the village chief, and who do you know? And they get this advantage.
Okay, so now let's look at where it leaves us educationally. What is the implication of all these indices you've cited? Does it mean, as for JAMB now, we talk about the absence of computer from the primary level and then the students are coming to write this exam? Does it mean we are not ready for the CBT?
The implication is hypocrisy. We tell a child, don't be a bad boy. And then we do not equip the boy not to be a bad boy. And he sees the bad boys winning and nobody punishes them. So what we are telling him not to be a bad boy, because a kind of house-made chorus you sing at home. The child needs to survive when he gets out. And he does everything according to what his mates are doing to be able to survive. Okay, look at, for instance, you tell your son today, he says he wants 45,000 naira for project. He said, no, I'm not giving you until I understand what your project is. What do you mean by 45,000 naira for project? And the boy leaves the house. And 2 days after that, he comes and he has paid. Who paid for you? Say, my friend paid for me. How do you pay? Are you going to discipline that boy tomorrow? When he has another way of getting what you cannot do. So your level of discipline, which you wanted to do, that is deficient. So JAMB has to use the result. But are all the school heads, are they implementing it? Most of these schools have what they call pedigree.
Okay, pedigree.
Yeah. And so they bring the people, all those people you think did not pass, because of who they know, they bring them via pedigree and come into the same class the next year. Some people are given admission and given 4 years for now before you graduate to make your requirements. So what are you talking about?
So as we draw this view to a close now, what do you think is the way forward for us, especially as regards dealing with this issue?
What we are talking about is being fair and being able to stand fair. Nigeria is a problem, not only politically, educationally, scientifically, security-wise. We are not able to call a spade a spade. If we say JAMB is the standard of admission, let it be JAMB. And if it is not JAMB, during my days in the 80s backwards, every university admits people according to their own requirements. I think that is a better approach, rather than claiming to have a common standard but not playing that.
Wow. Don't have double standard. Don't claim to have a common standard but not play when you're not playing to the standard. Well, that is where we draw it a close on this viewpoint. Thank you so much, Mr. Christopher Tulu, for joining us, and we do hope we will always have you when the need arises.
Thank you very much.
You've had it all. Must wake up and do something differently. Join me again in the next edition as we continue to delve into the issues and matters that affect the education sector. I am Chus Krista, and if you have not subscribed to our channel, you are not following our various handles, please ensure to do so. And good news is that we have something very strong and interesting, especially for students and teachers who are following us. Stick around with Krista Education TV as we continue to give education a voice. Bye for now.